welcome to Car Traction. In today's video we'll be looking at some classic automobilia and how to get yourself a little collection. Now I do apologise, it is quite windy. We are in early December, also the dog is barking, please ignore that. But we're in quite a Christmassy mood. I've got my Christmassy jumper on, we've got our Christmassy decorations, all very festive over here. So I thought, what better Christmas present than a Car Traction outdoorsy, toolsy video. So, as previously said, these are some cheap ways to get into automobilia collecting. Alright then, so here's the selection of affordable items that will easily get you into an automobilia collection. All of the items here will be able to be purchased from anywhere like an antique centre or a car boot sale for under £30. The ones that will be more higher to the top end of that budget will be the National Benzol mixture can. Other cans are available of course, and the Romac heavy duty foot pump. Other foot pumps are available, so those will be £25 to £30. But then we've got some real cheap items that can be found pretty much everywhere, such as these cycle repair outfits and puncture repair tins. They'll be about £2 to £10 if it's a really nice one. Got a drill, some spanners, all sorts. So please make sure you watch this video all the way until the end to make sure you don't miss out on anything. First of all, I think we'll look at the most widely available of our items on the show. Some puncture repair tins. These look really nice together, especially. We've got some pretty cheap ones. Usually I think this one was about £2, and you can see, oh, £1 then. Actually it's still got the label, I'm not sure what that's doing there. But you can also get all the stuff inside. Now not every example has this inside, and obviously it's a bit of a perk if you do have the stuff inside, but if you're like me, you use them for display, then it doesn't really matter. They might be charged a bit more, but it's not really going to be much. They're widely available at any antique centre. You've got this John Bull one here. Not quite as clean condition, but it's probably a bit older, so it's got reason to be a bit battered. Another John Bull one, this time a bit smaller. This one's probably a bit rarer, so more getting to around £5, but it's hardly anything, isn't it? And then we have a red Dunlop tin. I think this is a pretty early one actually. I haven't seen many like this. Well, this is the only one I've seen actually. And this one has some screws inside, and also that's actually a really useful thing to do with these tins. You can display them, but also if you have just some general stuff that you don't like looking at, you can put them inside if it doesn't have already the equipment inside. So yeah, tins are a great way to get into automobilia collecting. Another good thing to collect, classic drills. Now this is a particularly nice example because it's got a little Stanley label on there. Now not all examples are like this. This is probably about £8, but you can get sort of more average examples also by Stanley. They're the most well-known ones really, the most affordable and cheap. This one's probably a bit rarer, but most Stanley ones will be around £1 in a car boot sale, maybe in an antique centre because they charge what they're worth there, sort of £8, £10 even. And you can get much larger examples. I haven't actually got one with me, but on previous outdoorsy videos you have seen them, sort of the much larger industrial drills. If you regularly watch my outdoorsy oily rag videos, you'll recognise these two Wesco cans, one of which has the remnants of a label on it. They're very colourful, cute designs, probably about £5 each at an antique centre. They look really good. I've got a couple of more, but when they're all together, oily ragged of course, with WD-40 and a rag, they really do look nice together. So this is the more cheap type of oil cans. Very small and cute. But then we have some slightly larger ones. I'd say this one's most likely pre-war. Looks very good. One thing with oil cans is, being oil of course, they're likely to get a bit of oil all over them, which means that it sort of preserves the paint, meaning that you don't have to do oily ragging with WD-40. Now if you do like that sort of thing, please check out the channel homepage after watching this video of course, as I've got several other videos where I'm cleaning up old items of memorabilia. Got the nice writing as well on the cap there, a very satisfying mechanism. Luckily it's got nothing in it at the moment. Then we have a slightly later example. This is from Brame. A lovely shape of can. I think this has also got some nice writing there. This one's obviously more silver, but it's a really lovely design, I think. I don't think this one's got anything in it now. Well, I think both of these probably about £15 to £30 depending on how nice it is. Now this has got most of its label, but if it were to have all of the label, then it would be probably getting more, £30. So you really have to choose whether you want to go for quality but spend a bit more, or try and get more items that maybe aren't quite mint. Back to tins now. Got this lovely Lodge spark plug tin, complete with a Lodge spark plug, if I can get it out. It is, I think I must have bought this for about £1. Just put it back in. But £3.80 actually, so it's really not that much. Now this is actually quite a rusty one. There are far more better ones, but I just think, doesn't that look really nice? No matter how rusty and pocketed with holes it is, it's got some nice writing and there, 5 shillings. It still looks really nice, and especially having the spark plug with it, I don't know whether it's the original one or it just sort of completes the set and looks really good. A bit more tonnage now. We have some oils. What are these? 3-in-1 oils. One of these has the bike on the front. I wasn't sure which one it was for a moment there. And what looks to be an Atco lawnmower. At the back look very nice, probably 60s, 70s. £1 each. Very similar with that one, it's still got its price tag, 92p. I hope it's still worth that. Those look very nice together, don't they? Matching. Right, now what? Lockheed hydraulic brake fluid. I've had this one for a long time. It's one of the first tins I bought. Now they might not look that amazing on their own, but when you've got 5 tins of this shape or different colours, much like the oil cans, the Westco oil cans earlier, they look really, really nice together. It's a nice sign as well, and that's just really nice patinated tins. Oh, I've knocked one off. That wasn't part of the plan, but anyway, the one I knocked off is this lovely Castrol tin. I've got 2 more of these. These will probably set you back about £20–25 depending on condition. This one I think I bought for about £20, so it's a pretty good buy. The one to look out for actually is the Castrol R, but that'll be getting more, £30–40. So if you want to get into nice Castrol tins, then I'd suggest buying one of this shape, but maybe not as desirable a type of oil. So this is only the Hypo. I think I've got a diesel one, but they still look really good, don't they? Other affordable items include spanners. Now these can look really nice when you oily rag them up. I'm sure you know how I like to oily rag things. So you've got this Shelley example there with the lovely writing. I'd say that's probably pre-war. Shut up, Rosie. I'm sorry, the dog is quite vocal at the moment. Then we have a Snail brand one. Very nice. This one's slightly larger. Both of these probably can get them at a cart boot sale for around £1, 50p sometimes. Then we've got a slightly rarer one, the form of this lovely Humber one. Now I've only bought this about a week ago at the Ludlow market. I think it was £8, which is pretty cheap. So this is Humber, as in Humber cars, and it's probably 1920, so it's a really lovely spanner. But I think £6 or £8, that's really not that much. When they're cleaned up, they really do look fantastic. So spanners, another really good way to get into collecting. Next up for our affordable items to get you into collecting, we have plain complete with box. Now very few will be complete with the boxes. You can see the nice advertising on there. This is actually quite a small example, but even if you didn't want yours necessarily to be boxed, then they still look really good on their own. Now this isn't actually, dare I say it, that nice an example. There are other ones that have got the lovely wooden handles. This one's actually a bit cracked, that are a bit larger, but this is a very small example. You've got also a nice bit of sticker on there. Yeah, it's very nice, and especially being boxed means that it displays really well. A few more tools now with 2 spirit levels. This one is a slightly smaller one, as you can see. What I love about spirit levels is you get the lovely brass on the front, and it's also nice if you've got the little bubble. So I'm sure you know how they work, but if you don't, the bubble, when the surface is level, should be exactly within those 2 lines there. This is a much chunkier example. This one's probably worth about £15, but I'm sure I got it from my car boots. It's probably more like £5, I don't really remember. This one's probably worth about £10. Then again, I probably paid less for it. I like to do a bit of haggling. So yeah, a very nice addition to a beginner's collection. Something very tactile now is this lovely hammer. Now this will be a panel beater's hammer, as it's got quite a narrow head. Some of them will have more chunky and bulbous heads, but my personal preference will always be the panel beaters because it's got that association with cars, or it might not be cars, but it's likely to be that would have made some sort of car. Obviously I've got no idea which, there's no sort of brand, but they're really nice to touch. They look really good if you oil them up. The larger ones with the larger heads may not be directly related to cars, but they still display really well. Just before we move on, you can probably source one of these hammers from anywhere to £2 to £10 depending on who you're getting it from. Now, we have a lovely AA badge. This is of the post-war type, so it's a lot more common. You look at any sort of British classic car and it really isn't complete without an AA or RAC badge. They look really nice, probably £15, £20. They're still really common, but they look really nice. A nice intricate part on the top there as well. Just want to say in advance, I hope you can hear me properly. It's a December morning, so it is rather windy. But now, a real favourite of mine, bulb boxes. I have a lot of these in my collection just because they are so cheap. You can see this Osram one still has a £1 sticker, which is annoying because that won't come off because it's one of the annoying types of stickers. But beside that, I think they display really well, and especially when you've got a lot of them, they look really good. You can get all sorts, Lucas, Osram, I think also Mazda do bits, and one of the more obscure makers is this Stay Bright one, which also displays very well. Slightly more to the top of our price range in today's video, we have this lovely National Benzol mixer petrol can. I think I bought this from a car boot for about £25, £30. I can't remember the exact amount, but don't you think that displays really nice? You've also got the very nice brass top that looks really nice and patinated. Now, one way to date your cans are to look on the bottom. I'm sure you can't see it from there. I will put a bit of footage of the bottom over there, and this one is dating from 1946, and also says Velour, so it shows the brand that made that can before it went to National Benzol, and also the dates and month of when it was from. So it's really useful to see when your can is from, and it's really interesting to see if it's pre-war or post-war. This example being post-war, this can probably be sourced anywhere for about £25 or £30. Next up, a similar price range to the Benzol can, £25 to £30, is this lovely Romac heavy duty petrol pump. Sorry, no, not a petrol pump, foot pump, there we go. I can tell it's heavy duty, it's rather heavy to be lumbering about, but a good thing about these is you can update them, meaning that you can use them day-to-day use, so you can get a new rubber seal if your one isn't too good around there, and also you can get new hoses, which means that it'll work exactly like a new pump, but it looks brilliant. Now, whether you want to actually do that and use it, which I'd highly suggest you do if you don't have any other sort of pump, but it also, if you want to do that, displays great, even with some sort of modern attachment there. So, I think that pretty much wraps up this video. This is an introduction to some much more affordable ways to get into automobilia and car memorabilia collecting. You look at sort of enamel signs or pieces of exotic cars, and they're a few £100s, possibly even thousands in some cases, but you don't need to worry about buying that sort of thing because you've got all this to buy, and don't they really just look great together? Such a variety. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please check out the channel homepage to have a look at some other videos, also on automobilia and car memorabilia, all sorts of stuff on there. Thanks for watching.